Welcome you all students for the online class of social. Today we are going to learn about geography. In that chapter 7, the human environment, settlements, transports and communication. This is going to be the first part of the lesson. The second part of the lesson we are going to continue in the next video. So this is going to be very interesting lesson. So let's start on with the human-made environment. What is human-made environment and what is mean by settlements and what are the different types of settlements and what are the economic activities of the medieval people. So these are the things we are going to learn in this lesson. What is human-made environment? It is nothing but the human-created environment which is naturally occurred but they have done some alterations for their needs is called as human-made environment, such as roads, buildings, bridges, those things, and dam construction, apartment construction. All these things comes under the human-made environment. Let's see the human-made environment. In the early age, the humans were as nomads. They won't stay in a proper place. They'll travel from one place to another place in search of food, shelter, and in search of the work also. So those peoples are called as the nomads, and they are called as the temporary settlers. Okay, and how they started to speak through is the gestures, the signs, through actions they started to convey the message from one person to another person. And next is the how they started to grow crops. Means they started first, they saw how it is naturally occurring and then they started to cultivate the crops like barley, wheat, then later on paddy. Like that they started to grow crops because of their own needs. For their food needs they started to grow the crops also. So because of these changes it created an impact on environment. In the beginning it was a good impact. Later on it started to create some disadvantage to the environment. Let's see one by one. The next is the settlement. So it is of two types. One is permanent settlement, another one is temporary settlement. So permanent settlement and temporary settlement, all these two depend upon the physical environment, upon the land location it depends upon. So what is the permanent means? From the word permanent we can easily understand the place where the people decided to live permanently for a long time is called as permanent settlements and permanent places. Because of the permanent settlement in a proper place, they started to do the agriculture and they started to sell the crops, and there the commerce, there the economic get into developed. And because of the permanent settlement in a proper place, they started to build houses using the bricks, the strong houses they started to build and they started to live there. The next is the temporary settlements. The people's nomads, they come under the temporary settlements. They just stay for a few months or for a few days and they started to shift to another place. The persons, the occupations will be shifting cultivations like small crops like a brinjal crop, like that they will grow there, and most of the people will be hunters, gatherers, okay, and the cattle headers, the sheep headers and the cattle headers. You can see the picture I have mentioned here. And because of this temporary settlers, the transhumanists got developed, which means the livestock means the things needed for the people to live is called as livestock. They started to pasture the mountain area into the lowland pastures. That means they started to heat the sheep, goats and cows from the mountain place to the low level land during the winter. Then during the summer from the low level land they'll go and they start to heat in the mountain. So this is called as the transhumanists. Next, depending upon the population also they classify into two types. One is the rural and there is the urban. So the rural area is nothing but the village area with a less number of population, and the main occupation of the people will be agriculture, lumbering, hunting and fishing. Lumbering means nothing but related to the woodworks. Okay. The next is the urban. I have mentioned the pictures of the rural area. Have a look at the pictures. So they build the houses using stones and the wood, mud, those things. Next, the urban. The city, the town and the metropolitan cities with a dense population is called as the urban. Metropolitan city means which has all the transports, roadway, airway, waterways, all the transport is available there, means it is called as the metro city. And towns means it is according to the population they have divided that. We might have learned about the towns and cities in the civics lessons. Okay, so depending upon the population they divide those things, and here the activities will be manufactures and the trades. The raw materials from the primary area, which is the village people, will sell this to the primary people, secondary people. So there they'll do the manufacturing and services works, and the houses will be built in the bricks and cements. Nowadays, both village and the urban people started to build houses in the bricks and cements. Now our lesson is about the medieval period. So during the medieval period, only the people who live in urban area used to build the houses using the bricks and the cements. So I mentioned the pictures of the cities, the urban cities. Here the electricity, the water supply and the sanitation, the public transport will be available. Sanitation means the cleanliness of the area. Okay, it comes under the cleanliness of the area, and water supply, you people know that particular area will get a particular water supply in these days and these times. Like that they'll allot the settlements also. The next is the economic activities. So economic activity is nothing but how the economic is getting developed from the primary, then secondary, then tertiary. So the primary is nothing but the raw materials, the resource materials like agriculture and mining works. Agriculture means crops, food crops like paddy, wheat, those things. And mining means the coal, iron, gold, these things are called as the primary process. Next, the secondary, it is comes and get finished as a product. For example, if a farmer is cultivating a sago or a tapioca, means the product will be the sago. For example, if a person is cultivating cotton, means the product will be the textile industry, and the outcome will be as a cloth or a thread. So this is the secondary, and tertiary is the service and the maintenance like banking and the teaching and the technical resources. So this is the economic activities. The next is the clustered area. The distribution of house based on that, it is called as the clustered houses. So the houses will be built close together. If we can see these in the population of high level, and the infrastructure also will be well developed. So you can see the picture what I have mentioned here. And next is the scattered. Scattered means the people will build the house far away places. In village areas we can see, and in mountain areas we can see. So I have mentioned the pictures of settlement patterns, the linear, isolated, nucleated. Like this I have mentioned the pictures. So this is the scattered settlement. So these are the points we learnt in the part 1 of the lesson. The human and the development, different settlements of the humans. I hope you people all understood the lesson. Okay students, we'll meet in the next class. Thank you.